Jesse Kaiser with Hot Rod Magazine, and we're out here at the East Coast Timing Association Hot Rod Magazine Top Speed Challenge in Maxton, North Carolina. We're wrapping up here on Sunday. Sunday was a beautiful, nice warm day, passes all day long. Yesterday, not so much. Windy, postponed most of the day. We were able to get in some good racing. Had a lot of ups and downs. Quite a few motors blew on Saturday. Lost a few tires here on Sunday, but had some good winners. First thing we were able to do on Sunday morning was catch up with a close friend of Hot Rod Magazine's, Keith Turk, who's also the Vice President and Race Director for ECTA.
The East Coast Timing Association started back in 1994 by a couple of Bonneville racers. The second time they got rained out going west, they said, you know what, we really need to find a place to test and tune here on the East Coast. We had like 7 entries and a really small meet. It literally had trees growing in the middle of the runway. It had fallen into 100% disuse. Found this place in 1996 and worked rather tirelessly at taking an old airfield that was a World War II bomber strip and converting it from an unused piece of concrete into an actual runway 2 miles in length. Association itself represents an incredibly eclectic group of people. The speeds range from a 61-mile-an-hour motorcycle this morning with I think it was a 50cc bike with a girl about 3 foot tall on it, to 272 miles an hour with a Hayabusa that's the fastest sit-on motorcycle in the world.
The speed trials are opened up to just about every type of car imaginable, from single purpose-built cars run just for lane speed record runs, to cars that were built for other reasons that are now converted to run, from street cars to just bone stock motorcycles to anything, basically. The weekend saw everything from little stock Civic hatchback all the way up to full-fledged wind tunnel tested cars. Check out this 1936 antique modified car. Built, competed, and won in many NASCAR asphalt races in North Carolina. It's now down here in Maxton, competing against a record book.
1936. No, the car's probably 15-year-old. Well, this car started out as a piece of junk, and I built it and I had what they Southern Vintage Modified class. I'm Johnny Johnson, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We came down here last year and the record was 137.7. And we ran 143.6 and then 145 something, and then set the record at 147.7. Yeah, running an inline 6-cylinder, 258 cubic inches. And this year we're down here, and our goal is to run 150 mile an hour, which we haven't accomplished yet.
You don't have to have a race car to come down here to Maxton. You can have a street car, whether it be sensible or a little crazy, like a front-wheel drive Cadillac.
Our 72 Cadillac Eldorado has a 500 cubic inch engine in it. It's front-wheel drive. This car was given to us, and he had read an article in one of the magazines, I think it was Hot Rod Magazine, about racing down here. And he told me about it, and we looked at each other and we said, you know what? Let's go try that. Our best time of the weekend, 106 miles an hour. Yesterday in the wind, we did a 94. I don't think the car's reached its potential yet. Tom Maxton from Phillipsburg, New Jersey. We like it here. The people are friendly here. Everybody pitched in to help us. We took a bunch of guys to push this car on the trailer. We had a good time. The people are friendly here. We enjoy them. It's our kind of racing.
We started land speed racing last year in April. We built the car with all the updated safety regulations for land speed. My last run about an hour ago was 188. I had already licensed last October, and this time around I want to try and go all out. From Massachusetts, and my name is Pam Beinecke. And it's pretty much on the outside, all tribute to Bobby Isaac K&K. How can you take a 4,000-pound car and get it from standing to 200? what kind of a power plant. And one formula was at least 1,000 horsepower. We went to Indy Cylinder Head, and they came up with a 588 aluminum block. Chrysler wind tunnel tested the third generation wing cars in early 1970, and then when NASCAR banned wing in 1970, a few months later, they banned for the production of wing cars. So the plans were filed. But the aerodynamicist that worked with Chrysler's Daytonas and Superbirds, Gary Romberg, who had wind tunnel tested 3/8 scale models, returned. He's a consultant for Aerodyne, and he returned the day that we arrived for wind tunnel testing, and wind tunnel tested the live scale model car, and said he had the same arguments with the stylist of where to put that front spoiler in. Bobby Isaac ran after the NASCAR circuit. They took the K&K, the 1969 K&K Insurance Daytona to the Salt Flats to see if they could set some speed records. And it was September 14th, 1971. And the same time this year, September 14th, 2011, 40 years later, we plan on bringing this.
The atmosphere at Maxton is unlike any other racing. There's no competitiveness against one another. Everybody's there to ultimately have a good time. They're competing against themselves and competing against a record book. This year saw a lot of fortune and then some misfortune.
Dave kicks me from Nashville, Tennessee. This time got a lot of wheel hop, pedaled it a couple times. And I guess somebody at the starting line said that the third time I got back into it, it hooked really hard, but it hooked way over on the right. Rolled the wheel over and sheared off 5 hardened steel lugs. All 5 of them sheared off. I really didn't know what happened. I mean, I was busy trying to back and forth. I got it back in the middle of the track, and then I saw the wheel tire go by me. That's fine.
From bad luck to good fortune, the man who won our classes not only beat time records, but also has the record for the only man winning both classes in the same weekend.
Chris Henderson from Springville, Indiana. Entered in Gasreel Street yesterday and went 195 in that class. Then we entered in AA Fuel Super Street today and it went at 195 on the nitrous. And we went out trying to break 200, but the clutches went out in the transmission, so I went through the clutches and I ended our day today. Nitrous pass to try to get in the 200 mile an hour club was our main goal to come out here. And the clutches went out in the Turbo 400 on the last pass. Just got it rebuilt 3 nights ago and got it back in to come here to this event. A guy pulled some strings and got it together, but it didn't last. So.
Well, you sound disappointed, but you won. You broke a record.
The 200 mile an hour club was our main goal. This engine was built for that purpose. We're still shy.
So you're not happy from the weekend?
Oh, absolutely. I can't believe we ended up winning both classes. That was never planned from the beginning. We did enter it. There were some serious contenders here, and if any of them could have got their stuff lined out, they were 200 mile an hour cars easy. And it just, the order of events, it just happened to go our way with the wind blowing yesterday, not getting a lot of passes, then getting their cars lined out. It happened to fall in our lap. So there's always.
How many years have you been coming?
Since 2002.
Oh, wow.
We won 2008. We won this jacket with a 189 Real Street in 2008.
Okay. And tell me real quick a little bit about your car.
It's a 59 Jaguar Mark 1, but it's full tube chassis, 572 inch cubic inch engine. That engine was built originally for the Engine Masters Challenge that Popular Hot Rodding put on. This was done in 2009. It made 847 horsepower, except it has a single 4 on it instead of 2 4s for this event to be able to run in Real Street. So we went to a single lid. Turbo 400, GM 12 bolt, 256 ring and pinion, full tube chassis.
I'm Jesse Kaiser, and thanks for watching HotRod.com. Hey guys, listen up. This is the last year that we will be able to host this event at Maxton. The ECTA will not be able to run a 2012 season at Maxton. If you know of any area in the United States with at least 2 miles of pavement with no slopes or ditches off the side, please contact Keith Turk at keithturk@hotmail.com and keep the speed trials alive.